Hello everybody! Today is July 15th, 2009, and that means that it is my day to make a video for the 5 Awesome Cubers. Now, rather than talk to you for 10 minutes and be boring like I normally am, I'm going to be making a tutorial video on Paritys. I've been getting a lot of people asking me about how Paritys work and how to perform them faster and stuff like that, and so I thought I would do a parity video. So the question of the day is, what are the standards that must be met in order to be considered an advanced cuber? You know, there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced. But I want your opinion on 2 through 7x7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7x7. So, if you have an opinion on what the standards are for those, put them in a comment there, and I would really like to see what you guys think. Like, do you think sub 5 is advanced for 6x6, sub 4, sub 3, sub 2.5, sub 224. So yeah, and now the part about parities. For the big cubes, 4x4 through 6x6, there are 5 total parities, and here are the 5. PLL Parity, which is 2 edges switched. OLL Parity, which is one edge pair flipped in its spot. Similar to the OLL parity is the 2 wing edges parity, where you need to switch these two like that in order to solve it, only on the 5x5 and above. The 2 wing edge parity, and I'm not exactly sure if this is technically a parity error or not, but when one edge is switched with one other edge on the 4x4. And these are the 5 main parity errors that I will be discussing in this video. So as you can see, the ones that are on the 4x4s can normally only happen on a 4x4. You cannot have an OLL parity, or PLL parity, sorry, on a 5x5. You cannot have an OLL parity on a 5x5. And this one, which I'm not sure is an OLL parity case, is somewhat similar to this one. And now, this case is performed exactly the same as this one. Now is how to apply those parity algorithms onto the bigger cubes, how they translate, etc. So first let's start out with the 4 and 6x6. These are very similar puzzles. They are even numbered 3, 6, and 4, and they both use the same parity algorithms. However, every cube 5x5 and bigger does use both 5x5 parity algorithms. Only the 4x4 and 6x6, however, can have the OLL or PLL parities. So, first let's start off with the PLL parity, probably the easiest one to learn, which is switching to edge pairs. You start the algorithm. All of these algorithms are in the description, by the way. And when you get to the middle of the algorithm, you have to move the single inner layer by itself, like that, and then you can finish your algorithm. Now, how do you do that on a 6x6? You do it almost the exact same way, except you turn 3 layers at a time. 1 layer at the top, and now you moved the single inner layer, so now you're going to turn the inner layer here. But you imagine that this is a 4x4, and you bandage these two. And there you have the PLL parity translated onto a 6x6. Now I would like to talk about pure form versus impure form of the parities. Those are not their official names, but I am calling them that just for the sake of teaching you guys about them. This is the pure form, and you can probably guess that because the parity has not affected any other part of the cube aside from just those 2 pieces. And this is the impure form because it has affected other pieces. They both fix the parity, but what's the difference? These 2 corners are switched and turned, and these 2 edge pairs are flipped, meaning switched places. So, how do you perform these? For the impure, you grab all the outer layers when solving it. So this one, R, B, U, L, U, etc. You turn both layers, outer layers, when doing it. And now for impure, to make it, for pure, to make it pure, you just do the inner layers. R, B, U, L, U. Now, why would I rather do pure over impure if it takes longer? With doing the pure form, although it takes longer, allows you to look ahead on the cube. So if you see that you have a parity, you can be looking at the other pieces knowing that they will be in their exact same space. So while you're doing it, you know, oh, I need to do a T permutation. So when you finish it, you can immediately go into the T permutation. While the impure one, since it switches 2 edge pieces and switches 2 corners, that may be good for you. If you are doing a Friedrich method solve, and you have that parity, and you have these 2 flipped as well when you're doing the parity, when you're done, those will be flipped back, and all you'll have to do is a corner. So that is pure versus impure. Back to the 4x4 for a second, there is no pure or impure versions of the PLL parity. In an attempt to show you the time difference between a pure and impure parity algorithm, I will do a time solve of one algorithm, pure and impure, to show you the difference. This is going to be the 2 adjacent wing edges. This video will be pure, that one will be impure. Now, was there really that much of a difference between performing pure and impure? Not really. 3 seconds. It's not really that big of a deal. So that's why I would suggest always using impure, because it's faster. Now that I've showed you pure versus impure, the parities, and the time difference, I would like to go into how to apply the 4x4 and 5x5 parity cases onto the 6x6 and 7x7. I already showed you for the 4x4 on the 6x6. So now we will be working on the 2 opposite wing edges and the 2 adjacent wing edges. When performing the impure on a 5x5, you turn 2 layers on the left side, and that will switch these 2, like this. So, when performing it on a 6x6, if you turn 2 layers, it'll switch these 2. If you want to switch 2 opposite ones, a pair of 2, you would turn 3 layers. On the 7x7, if you turn 2 layers, it'll switch 1 piece. If you turn 3 layers, it'll switch these 2 pieces. Very simple. Now, the adjacent flip, you turn 2 right layers. So, if you turn 2 right layers here, you will get these 2 flipped, and this one stays the same. If you do 2 layers on the 7x7, you'll get these outer ones flipped, and these 3 the same. And if you do 3, you'll get these 2 pairs flipped, and this center edge, will stay the same. Now, why did I even bother telling you about pure versus impure? It's not really that big of a difference. It's not going to make that much of a big deal in your solve. The reason for pure versus impure is for 6x6 and 7x7 translation of parities onto bigger cubes. The impure version of switching these 2 pieces would require 2 algorithms. One to flip these 2, and then one to switch these 2, and then one to switch just this one, because then this one would stay switched. And same with on the 7x7. But with pure parity algorithms, you can switch just 2 pieces without having to do an algorithm twice. So like for this one, I'll show you an example. I want to switch these 2 inner pieces. So, I'll do the normal algorithm. And that switched these 2. Now, but I wanted to switch these 2. There we go. That switched them. But what if I want to do it in one algorithm? This is where the pure comes in. You just turn the center layer that you want to turn it on. So, the layer that it's on that I want to switch them on is one away from the centerpiece. So, I turn the same one on the other side as well. And there you go. So that is my short video, or actually quite long video, on how to solve parity cases, and how to apply them from 4 and 5 onto the 6 and 7. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send either the 5 Awesome Cubers or my channel MonkeyDude1313 a question, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.